I want to be very honest about another dynamic, and I don't, and this is something that in the campaign, we've seen across the board throughout the party all over the country. And that is that the interpersonal strife sometimes helps to create that situation. And so what we need to be able to do is understand how conflict impacts people. I really advocate for having sort of a code of conduct for each local and state party so that we can try to have a common democratically arrived set of guidelines for how we interact with each other. I've been organizing in the National Party for several years now, and one of the major things that keeps coming up is that this person had a dispute with that person. I've seen it everywhere. And so therefore they don't participate anymore. And so we have to have the courage to have conversations with each other. And maybe they need to be mediated conversations sometimes, but we need to be able to work through conflicts in a way that leaves everyone whole, right? That everyone is heard. We have to practice peace in our local organizations, not just in, refraining from physical violence, but sometimes we need to be honest with ourselves about the violence that is generated from strife that is left unaddressed, right? And so I would, Utah, for example, has a conflict resolution policy. They have a grievance policy that they've written into their bylaws. And I actually think it's pretty good. And if you all ever have a chance to go look at the Utah Green Party of Utah website, look for that and just kind of see how they've laid things out, because I think that's really necessary. We have to be intentional in our groups about dealing with conflict, because if you have a whole lot of conflict in your organization, you're not going to be able to come up with a common strategy. And then you have this situation where you have people going off to this side, kind of trying to implement the strategy, but the job is too big because we don't have enough hands on deck. And so we need to try to address that. And I don't want to get too much deeper in that because every situation is different, but it is a common situation throughout the Green Party. So, I think that we, as part of the strategy, where there are internal conflicts, the strategy needs to include dealing with that, right? And using democracy as much as possible, so that everybody gets a chance to be heard. Everyone gets an opportunity to put a proposal on the table, and just allowing people to speak and to be heard and to feel that they're being respected. That's so, so important. So once you've dealt with that, then a strategy that you put together, it really needs to be determined and informed by the conversations that you're having with people in your community.